Alright guys, welcome back into another Pga Dfs video. Alright, going to be going over last week's recap, and then we're going to get into this week. So last week, well, it was 2 weeks ago now, we had the Bermuda Championship, and I told you guys that was going to be my main focus, and it was a really solid week. My only regret with that one was not playing it as much as I could have, but the real issue with that one was that there wasn't as much contest. Obviously, it was kind of the secondary event going on with DraftKings and on the PGA Tour, and I just want to bring this kind of to focus a little bit too, because I kind of always tell you guys, you know, my feelings for the week. The Bermuda Championship I really liked, and I attacked that one really aggressively. These non-full tournament field events, like these WGC events, you don't really want to attack those ones too much. Sure, you're going to hit here and there in those events, but for the most part, those are so hit or miss and so have a lot of high variance involved. You know, those ones you're just kind of playing for fun, kind of just trying to continue that knowledge base so that in the long term in PGA DFS, you can be successful. You know, those non-full tournament field events, you're mostly just playing for fun. The full tournament field events, you're trying to play to build your bankroll. That's what we've got this week with the Mayakoba Golf Classic. And, you know, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I don't love it as much as I liked that Bermuda last week, but I do like it quite a bit. The only problem with this week is that you guys will see the sub 8K range, the 8K to 7K range. A lot of solid plays in there, and we'll touch on that in this video. All right, so touching on the stat fits for this, we've got Charles Howell, who really just solid overall. We're going to be looking at total drivers, ball strikers, strokes gained total guys, but we're also going to be looking at people that can putt, and they're not going to make mistakes on the putting green. We're also going to be looking at driving accuracy. Charles Howell is checking the boxes in most of those. He is a ball striker. We know that. He typically is throughout his whole career. He's T3 in that. Abraham Answer is actually checking all the boxes stat-fit-wise. T38 in total driving, T44 in ball striking, and top 50 in strokes gained. He's a pretty accurate driver as well. Keegan Bradley, more the same. Top 30 in total driving and ball striking. We know he's an accurate driver when he needs to be. Going down to Kevin Stroman. Not sure I'll play him too much, but top 20 in total driving and ball striking. And then Denny McCarthy. We know he's been a solid putter this whole year. He's solid in driving accuracy as well, and total driving and strokes gained total. He's third in putting on the year, so I do like Denny McCarthy quite a bit this week, stat fit wise. Gains of course history. Russell Knox has been lights out here. A T9, a third finish, and a T2. Emiliano Grillo as well has been really solid. 15th overall, T9, and a T10. You got Ches Reavie here, who I probably won't play too much because of his recent form right now, but T26, T14, T4, and T74. So 4 straight make cuts. Obviously, we do like to see that. Pat Perez, he has okay course history. So T6, T34, he won, and then he had a missed cut mixed in there. So I don't really penalize him for that missed cut 4 years ago. So the last 3 years, T6, T34, and victory, that's obviously really solid. He has shown some upside this year already. Danny Lee, too. So Danny Lee, second finish and a T25 finish, that's really solid. I could have put some other guys in here as well, but I cut it off at JT Post in here, who T21, T14, and T35 finished. So those are obviously all guys that have some pretty solid course history. I could have went with Matt Kuchar, the winner last year as well. Chose not to go that route though. And then if we're just looking at recent form, obviously Billy Horschel has been really solid this year. Harold Varner really has just been a cut maker this whole year, pretty much T30 or better. Russell Knox just been really solid the last 5 weeks. Lanto Griffin has already won on the tour, and pretty much all of his starts have been top 20 finishes. They actually have been, and same thing could be said for Denny McCarthy. The only thing is he hasn't won yet, and hey, maybe that'll happen this week. All right, let's get into this week's player pool. So you guys typically know that I don't like to dwell on the top tier plays there on the high end. Obviously, Matt Kuchar, Victor Hovland, Jason Day, Tony Finau are all going to be phenomenal options. If you guys can fit them into your player pool, you should. They should all make the cut. I don't see why else they'd be playing in this event. Charles Howell is the one I'm going to start out with, though, because he does have that good course history. Missed cut here last year, but before that, T4, T7, and a T17. We kind of know that last year was kind of just a bad career year for him, and it does seem like he's bouncing back to his regular self. He's a good stat fit, like we already touched on as well. Overall, Charles Howell is not going to be a bad play. I do think he'll make the cut and get a top 20 finish. Russell Knox, I obviously really do like because of his course history and his recent form. Both have been phenomenal. He is also T35 in total driving. He's a pretty accurate driver off the tee as well. Top 50 in that and strokes gained approach. He's been okay putting, 70th in that this year. But as price point, I don't mind Russell Knox. Kind of feels weird to say. Kind of feels weird to say that I really like Lanto Griffin as well. He has played this course once, 2 years ago, where he finished T61. He is 34th in total driving. He is a really good putter so far in the year, 8th in that. And overall, just a pretty decent stat fit. Obviously, I really like his current form. Tough to beat that current form. All top 20 finishes are better, and he also has that victory. Emiliano Grillo, I don't love as a pick. I wish his recent form was a little bit better. But still, all rounds, even the ones that he's missed the cut on, have been below even. So all of his rounds have been, negative scores. So that's good. Obviously, has that good course history and he's good stat fit. It wouldn't surprise me if he came out and played well. Him and Keegan Bradley are going to be low-owned GPP plays for me. Keegan has a T15 finish here and a T8 finish. Obviously, Keegan Bradley's one of those guys where he's safe and consistent, what kind of translates into success here at this course. Chez Reavie, I already mentioned this somewhat. He has really good course history. He's a pretty solid stat fit as well. Top 20 according to my model this week. But the only problem with that is his recent form has been bad. And, it's kind of weird. How much do you chalk up to those WGC events where they don't really have to try too hard? It's a no-cut event at a new course. It's kind of hard to chalk up that much to that. So if Chez has a good week, that wouldn't surprise me. Denny McCarthy, I already touched on a little bit. Really good stat fit. Great recent form. Love the price point. He has played this course twice, finishing T41 and T68. Obviously, this is some of the best golf that he's played in his career. So, we take that recent form, add that on. I think he's going to have a good week this week. Now, there are some other plays that you could roll with there. Danny Lee, JT Post, and Pat Perez. Don't mind those plays. I think I'd just rather pay down for Dylan Fratelli, who has been kind of hit or miss this year. But overall, I think at this price point, I like him as a play. Overall, he's a pretty decent stat fit. Could be a little bit better. Top 35 according to my model this week. But we know he can go low. And if he is playing really well, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a top 10 finish here. All right, going a little bit lower, I do want to touch on Harris English, who has horrible course history. T68 and then all 3 missed cuts. But that recent form has been phenomenal, okay? This is where we kind of battled that course history and recent form. I typically like to see a little bit of both, so I'm not going to be playing too much of Harris English. He is a good stat fit this week as well. Top 20 according to my model. Brian Gay has a T41 finish, a T25 finish, and a T28 finish here. I really do like his recent form, and I do like that he played really well at the Bermuda Championship 2 weeks ago. That's actually one of the reasons why I had a pretty solid week for that tournament. So I like Brian Gay's okay stat fit as well. Harold Varner, just going to continue to play this guy until he really lets me down. He had a T6 finish here last year and then a T5 finish here 4 years ago. Obviously, he's relatively just a good stat fit. 13th in total driving. Is a strong putter, top 30 in that. Top 30 in strokes gained approach as well. At his price point, I do like that play quite a bit. Sebastian Munoz, I was kind of surprised at the price point here, and I kind of get it. He's kind of fallen off here, but he's a solid stat fit. Top 25 according to my model this week. So overall, he's not a bad play. I know that he hasn't played well recently, so I get the price point. But taking a flyer on him in GPPs, 10% ownership, don't mind that too much. Now, Scott Pearson, I'm not going to play, but I do want to bring up his course history. T6 and the T4. Overall, his game fits really well for this course. I'm not going to play him because that recent form has just been horrible. Adam Schenk, though, I do like him as a play. T48 here last year, T34 finished the year before that. He's a good total driver, good ball striker, top 50 in both of those. Also top 50 in strokes gained putting. So, he's going to be kind of a decent play there at that below 8K range. Harry Higgs is one of the reasons why I had a good Bermuda Championship week as well. He's kind of been hit or miss. This should be a course that does fit him. Once again, that's going to be a low-owned GPP play. Going a little bit lower now, Russell Henley. I think he might get talked up this week, and I do get it. Okay stat fit. He's top 40, which isn't great. He has been making cuts, and he does have that course history, T29 finish. I would just rather pay for the other players around him. You know, Siwoo Kim, his recent form has been all right as well. He'll probably get talked up because he's made cuts at those non-cut events. But overall, he has decent course history, you know, pretty solid stat fit. Don't mind the play too much. Rather just go with Cameron Tringale here. T25 finish 2 years ago. T46 finish the year before that. Overall, his game is just consistent. And that's what we see with his recent form as well. Just making cuts. So I really don't mind him as a play, especially at that 7.4 price point. And Zhang, I probably messed that up again, but really good recent form, strong with stroke gain approach, okay putter. He does drive it pretty accurately, and he did have a T20 finish here 2 years ago, so don't mind him. Really strong play at that price point, though. Given his recent form, he might be a chalky play, though. Nick Taylor, I don't think I'm going to roll with this week, but he has been playing some really good golf here. He does have 2 straight missed cuts here at this event, but a T15 the year before that. I'd rather go with Doc Redman, a little bit cheaper. Doesn't have the course history, but he's top 20 in total driving, stroke gain approach, and also driving accuracy. You know, all that leads up to him with that recent form that he should make the cut. And at that price point, that's really all that you want from him. Going a little bit lower, Mark Hubbard has been pretty solid. I'm a little bit surprised by this price point. I thought he'd be at least 500 more. Now, he doesn't have that course history that we want to see. But overall, just solid putter, solid stroke gain approach. I do think he can be accurate off the tee if he needs to be. So I don't mind that play as like a start of the value range. But I think I'd rather go with Kramer Hickok, who 2 solid starts in a row now. He had a T29 finisher last year, top 50 in total driving and ball striking as well. So Kramer Hickok, not a bad value play there. My second favorite value play on the board. Vaughn Taylor, who really has kind of cooled off here. He had a really nice stretch there about like 3 months ago and really hasn't been playing well recently, but he does have some good course history, T26, T41, and T60. You know, he's normally a guy that has great total driving and great ball striking, so if you want to pull the trigger on him in some GPPs, maybe 15% ownership, I get it. And then Maverick McNeely here. Don't really get the price point on him. He is a good putter, and he overall is just a solid player. Been really good recently as well, so just a solid value play at that price point range. I think I'd rather go with him than Kramer Hickok, but both those guys are going to be decent value plays. I will be keeping my eye on Peter Molinari, Chris Kirk, and also James Hahn. I'm not sure I want to play him this week in this player pool, but if they go on and have a good week, it wouldn't surprise me too much. All right, just doing a little bit of curtain call here at the end. The PGA DFS membership is $5 a month. Really good value there for you. There is this tournament and then another tournament, and then we kind of have a lull. And so because of that lull in the PGA Tour schedule, I'm going to be doing a lot of NBA DFS. That's a lot more tedious, a lot more day-to-day, but I'll have that for the PGA DFS membership as kind of an appreciation. So if you guys want that, you know, definitely check that out. The link is in the description below. We also have the NFL DFS membership available for $10 a month or $14 for the combo package. Been really hot the last month or so in NFL and been dominating on the showdown slate kind of the whole year. So if you guys want to check that out, if not, just give me a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that as always. Thanks, guys.